It's the world exclusive that everyone's talking about. In our next report, we get you some of the highlights of what Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov told India Today's Geeta Mohan in that exclusive conversation about Russia's war on Ukraine. From sending out a tough message to the United States, to the NATO and also to Ukraine, the Russian Foreign Minister, who's Putin's top aide, justified the special military operation as he referred to it in Ukraine.
Nearly 60 days of invasion and the Russian war machine is rampaging on. Now the man fronting this war, Putin's foreign minister, Sergey Lavrov, is breathing fire. Speaking exclusively to India Today and mincing no words. Lavrov blamed the West and NATO for pushing Russia to invade Ukraine.
Russia is warning all its colleagues that just on our borders you have been creating a springboard against us. You have been pumping arms into Ukraine. You have been totally ignoring the legislation of Ukraine which completely prohibited the Russian language. You have been ignoring legislation which have been encouraging neo-Nazist ideology and practices. So, of course, the very latest development, because it was all linked with Ukraine becoming NATO springboard and NATO expansion. And they were saying that Ukraine will be in NATO. Nobody can stop Ukraine if it so wishes. And then President Zelensky said that he might think about coming back to possess nuclear weapons. And in November last year, my president suggested to the United States and to NATO to sit down, to cool off.
Despite warnings and threat about an impending nuclear strike on Ukraine, the Russian foreign minister told India Today that it was in fact Zelensky who first raised the nuke bogey.
Tactical nuclear weapons. Will Russia ever use them, deploy them?
Zelensky, we never mentioned about this. He mentioned this, so his intelligence must have provided him with some news. I cannot comment something which a not very adequate person pronounced.
The Russian foreign minister has denied claims of genocide, calling the Bucha massacre a staged fake news by Ukraine.
We have been targeting only military infrastructure. Unfortunately, the Ukrainian army and so-called nationalist battalions, which are using Nazi insignia, swastika, which was borrowed from Indian history but twisted the wrong way, and the insignias of Waffen-SS battalions. These people were using and continue to use civilians as a human shield. A couple of weeks ago in the place called Bucha, where the Russian troops left on the 30th of March, I think, and for 3 days the city was back in the hands of Ukrainian administration. The mayor of Bucha was publicly saying that we are back, the city is back to the normal life, and only on the 4th day they started showing images of dozens of corpses lying in the street, which was only a few days before shown as being back to normalcy.
With Russia reeling under sanctions, the country's foreign minister accused the West of hypocrisy.
This outcry started only when the Russians decided to protect Russians who are citizens of Ukraine and who were absolutely discriminated. The American military never had any scruples about achieving their military goals, be it in Syria, be it in Iraq, be it in Afghanistan for that matter. And this is a tragedy when people die. But we cannot tolerate the situation when our Western colleagues say that we can do anything we want.
With the war nearing the 2-month mark, Russia has made its intent clear. Sergey Lavrov says the special operation is at a very critical moment.
These republics, the militias of these republics are fighting to get their territory back. Because when they held referendum in 2014, it was held on the entire territories of the former regions. But then the coup leaders started the war, which they called anti-terrorist operation, and they took considerable chunk of both regions. So yes, we recognize them in their declared territories as a result of referendum.
The message from Russia is clear. It's not over yet. With Geeta Mohan in Moscow, Bureau Report, India Today.